Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today we're doing part 2 of Becca's Bookopoly. So this is my new 2019 TBR series where I use this Bookopoly board to pick my TBR each month. I'm not going to be going through every square on the board like I did last month because I don't really feel like it needs repeating. But if you did miss my first Bookopoly video and you would like a full tour of the board, I will link my January TBR video up here so you can go check that out. But for those of you that are up to speed, we are just going to get straight into it. So first up in these videos from now on, I would like to just briefly touch upon last month's books and whether I actually read the books that I did set out to read in the previous month's Bookopoly TBR. So last month I did select 5 books and they were Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for the challenge to read a book set in a fantasy world. We then had The Poppy War, which I've returned to the library, which was to read a book in a culturally diverse setting. Hero at the Fall by Alwyn Hamilton, which was to read a young adult fantasy. Goyo by Junji Ito, which was to read a book outside of my comfort zone. And Isola by Brendan Fletcher and Carl Kerschel, which was to read my most recent purchase. So I'm not going to go into any detail on these books in this video because that would spoil my monthly wrap up, but I did manage to complete all 5 of the books that I set out to, so we don't have to think up any punishments this month. So after a successful January, I'm feeling really optimistic about February's Bookopoly video, so let's just get straight into our first roll. Okay, so last time we finished over here. Let's get into our first roll. Paranormal or magical realism. So roll number 1 was to read a magical realism or a paranormal book, both of which are genres that I'm not entirely too fond of, but I do have one book left to read in the Wolves of Mercy Falls series, and that is Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. There is a 4th book in this that is not integral to the series, and I don't think I'm actually going to bother reading that, but the Wolves of Mercy Falls series, it does follow werewolves. It's a very character driven series, so there is not a lot of plot, but it does follow a girl called Grace who was bitten by werewolves when she was younger, but for some reason she didn't turn into one. And yeah, it's just all character driven stuff. I read the first 2 books and I think I rated them 3 stars last year, and they're okay, but I'm not like really into them, so I just kind of want to read this to wrap up the series and be done with it. Second roll. Contemporary or romance. So roll number 2 was to read a contemporary book, which is super exciting because I will be participating in round 3 of Contemporary-a-thon, and for that I picked Girls Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake, as this will knock off quite a few challenges for Contemporary-a-thon, and I'm also really excited to get to this. I was gifted this book by Ali from Hardback Hoarder, so thank you so much, Ali. I'm glad that I'm finally reading it, and I really want to prioritize the books that were gifted to me by you guys at Christmas so they're not just sitting on my shelves. So Girl Made of Stars follows a girl whose best friend accuses the main character's brother of raping her, and I think it is about how the girl is stuck in the middle, and while she believes her best friend, she also doesn't want to believe that her brother could commit something so horrific. So I am really excited to get into this. You guys know that I love hard-hitting contemporaries, and while I don't read a lot of contemporary, this is one of the ones that has really caught my attention, and I'm glad that I'm finally going to be reading it. Ooh, read a 5-star prediction. So roll number 3 was a 5-star prediction, and while you may think that that is really, really good and that is like so awesome that I get to read a book that I think I'm going to love, most of these books in my 5-star predictions are the start of a new series, and quite a few of them are like 600 to 1,000 pages long, so not the best time for it to come up, but we'll see what we get. So as I said in my January Bookopoly video, I have a jar here with all of the books from both 5-star prediction videos that I have done on my channel. I will put the most recent one up in the cards up here, and there are 10 books in here, and I'm just gonna randomly pick one, and I hope to God it is not The Name of the Wind. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Right, no, I should probably do it on camera. Let's just, okay. I'm so scared. This one? This one? I'm so scared, guys. Right. It's The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. So we have The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is one of the ones on my most recent 5-star predictions video. I'm glad that I pulled this one because I've been dying to read some more sci-fi. You guys may know that I've been really enjoying sci-fi recently, and I think I may enjoy it more than fantasy. So I'm definitely excited to dive into one of the more hyped sci-fi series. This one as well is a series of companion novels, so if it's a couple of months between reading the books, then that's absolutely fine. And it's not too big. So The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is the first book in the Wayfarers series, and I believe that the Wayfarers series follows 3 different groups of people on spaceships traveling through space. I'm really hyped for this because it's sci-fi and a lot of people really love it. I'm just a little bit worried because it's character driven, and while I do really enjoy character driven stories, I do like them to have at least a consistent amount of plot for it to kind of make sense, because I love getting to know characters and really being in their heads and really caring about them. But at the same time, I'm always disappointed if I get to the end of a book and think that there was no point me really reading it. So I'm so happy that February is the month where I find out how I feel about this series. Oh no, we rolled a double. To make matters worse, we rolled a double and landed on a book outside of my comfort zone. So I did land on books outside my comfort zone last month, and at that time I hadn't made a video to sort of tell you the books that would be included in this, but I have done that now. So here is my TBR jar of books outside my comfort zone. I don't like this. Why do I have to randomly pick so many books this month? So books outside my comfort zone. Oh, this is gonna be painful. It's manga. This one. Okay. Oh, holy shit, no. Oops. Right, we have Dead Until Dark, which is the first book in the Suki Stackhouse series. And so in February, I will finally be reading Dead Until Dark by Charlene Harris. This is the first book in the very long Southern Vampire series. I think I'm missing one book, but I have like 12 of these books. It's an adult paranormal romance that I guess has vampires and werewolves in. I started collecting this series a while ago because I was interested in watching the show True Blood. Since then, I have massively grown out of paranormal romance, but a lot of you guys have been telling me that you absolutely love this series. The thing that I have about this series particularly is that it's so long, and I'm not a huge fan of episodic type series where every book kind of has like a story arc, and there's so many of them that it's like reading a TV show almost. So we'll see how I feel about this. I can't promise I will like it, but I will definitely read it for the purpose of Bookopoly. So because we rolled a double, we get an extra roll, which is 11. Which is historical fiction. Bookopoly really hates me this month because roll number 5 was historical fiction, which, as you can tell from it being assigned to the brown section, is my least favourite genre. But I have Changeling by Philippa Gregory. This is the first book in the Order of Darkness series, and Philippa Gregory is a well-known historical fiction author, and this is the first book in her young adult series. It's quite short. Oh god, it's very yellow as well. And it does have a fantasy element, but I did look on Goodreads and it is predominantly categorised as historical fiction, and it is set in the year 1453. So I've never read anything by Philippa Gregory, and I think this might be a good introduction to her writing because she does write a lot about the Tudors, which is one aspect of history that I am moderately interested in. But I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, and I'm really nervous because it's historical fiction, and this is not a good month, guys, for me. This TBR is not good. And then final roll, 3, which is read a library book. And then lastly, my 6th and final roll was to read a library book, and I have 3 library books out at the minute, but the one I have had out the longest is An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. Now, I have heard very mixed reviews about this. This is I'm not sure if it's more paranormal or urban fantasy. It is set in New York City, and there is a magical tournament where all of the like magical sorcerer houses come together, and there is a tournament to find out who will be like the head of all of the houses. Murphy Napier really loves this, but other people whose opinions I trust, like Rach from Rachel Marie Book Junkie, really didn't like it. So I'm hoping I like it. A standalone fantasy is always good because there's not too many of them. I do believe that it doesn't have a great deal of world building though, which is something that I really don't like. So we'll give this one a try and we'll see what we think. So that is it for all the Bookopoly stuff, but there are just 2 more books that I'm going to be reading in February, and you know, this is a lot, okay? So first up, I need to finish Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I am on page 170 of like 800. And I am hosting a read along for this, so this is going to be like a high priority book for me to read this month. The good news is that I am absolutely flying through it when I do dedicate time to it. It's just I've just been reading a chapter at work every so often. So I'm hoping that I can fly through the rest of this because I have a lot on my TBR this month, but this like absolutely has to be read. You guys all know what a Game of Thrones is about. I'm like really enjoying it at the moment, so hopefully it won't be too taxing to power through this tome. And for the other read along I'm taking part in, which is Ryan's Harry Potter read along, I will be reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. I've been reading the illustrated editions, which is like a really fun experience, and I've also been doing a series of book diaries on these, which is rereading Harry Potter as an adult. I'm excited to get into this one because I think Prisoner of Azkaban may be my least favourite, but after this I really love the last 4 books. So I will be reading this month, and you can wait for my book diary and see what I thought. So that is everything for my February Bookopoly TBR. Please let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments. Please let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. And please let me know if you think I'm going to accomplish this TBR when it has like a lot of varied stuff on it. But also please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.